chupacabras, urban legend, or are they real? I'll be sharing my encounter with a chupacabra, so stay tuned.
Welcome to Leap Into Your Story podcast, where you discover your inner story, break down the process, and meet others who've done it so you can leap into your own story. We interview amazing guests who provide powerful insights that inspire you to get your story told. Be sure to visit our website at leapintoyourstory.com, and while you're there, subscribe and like us via your favorite social media network. Now sit back, get ready to take some notes, and let's get started. This episode of Leap Into Your Story podcast is brought to you by Leap Into Your Story course. Visit leapintoyourstory.com, where you have a guide to get your story told.
I'm Victoria Andersen, and welcome to the Leap Into Your Story podcast, where you discover your inner story, work through the process, and meet others who've done it. This is the final segment of our spooktacular month of paranormal and true tales of terror. This particular episode, I will be sharing my personal encounter with a chupacabra. It is from my book, Mastering the Paradox. So if you like to read more about my paranormal encounters and experiences, you can do so at Amazon.com. My chupacabra story starts when I moved to New Mexico. It had only been a few months since we had moved from LA, and I was still trying to adjust to the different cultures, the different temperatures, because LA, you pretty much don't get any real change of seasons, but with New Mexico, it did have the 4 seasons. And this particular spring, I was already going cuckoo because I like to have my windows open, even though it was relatively still cold. But nonetheless, I wanted to just take in some of the fresh, crisp air of a chilly spring night. And I had left one of the bedroom windows open, probably about 4 inches, with the screen in place. Well, there was something that had kind of caught my attention. Wasn't quite sure what it was. I heard a sound like what best to be described as some sort of growling just outside the window. Well, it was already dark, and I did have the bedroom light on, but I couldn't see anything outside beyond the window. Well, I was still curious because I kept hearing this just really vicious snarling sound just out of my visual ability to see what it was using the light of the room. I did try to get a flashlight because whatever it was not going away, which another, like I couldn't figure out what it was. Well, maybe it's some sort of wild animal. I flashed the flashlight on either side of the window. I still could not see it. I could only hear it. And the growl was just incredibly vicious. So I'm thinking maybe it's some sort of raccoon or something wild, still trying to get accustomed to the area and not sure what's roaming in the yard at night. But the growling sound was very unique. It sounded vicious. It sounded agitated. It sounded very like just outside of the window. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't see it. I was almost tempted to open the window and pop the screen. That's how unusual it was that caught my attention. But I decided not to. And, I told my husband, I says, wouldn't it be funny if, that was a chupacabra or something? Something that I never thought would exist. And he thought I was nuts. Usual, that's the usual response. It's probably some wild animal. But the very next morning, there was a quite a shocking news story. And the blazing headlines across the morning news was Rio Rancho Chupacabra caught on film. So, had to see that. And the footage of that particular animal shocked me. It looked like some sort of, I don't know, it was bluish, and it stood on its hind legs. And somebody took some pop shots at it and apparently hit it with the gunfire, but it was never found. Even though there was a trail of dripping blood, it just sort of disappeared. The trail just stopped, and there was no dead chupacabra, even though it was clearly injured according to the footage. So that's my tale of chupacabra encounters. If you'd like to read more about that or find out more, you can do so at Amazon.com with my book, Mastering the Paradox. I want to thank you for tuning into the Loop Into Your Story podcast, where you discover your inner story, work through the process, and meet others who've done it so you can be guided to your journey to write your story. Remember to visit our website at leapintoyourstory.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're there, subscribe and like us via your favorite social media network. We are looking forward to seeing you next time here on the Leap Into Your Story podcast.
Thank you for tuning into the Leap Into Your Story podcast, where you discover your inner story, break down the process, and meet others who've done it so you can leap into your own story. Remember to visit our website at leapintoyourstory.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're there, subscribe and like to us via your favorite social media network. We're looking forward to seeing you next time on the Leap Into Your Story podcast.